Every spring, India slowly heats up. By late May, the country is burning in temperatures of 40 degrees. The monsoon season is about to begin.
বৃষ্টি পড়ে টাপুর টুপুর বৃষ্টি পড়ে টাপুর টুপুর বৃষ্টি পড়ে টাপুর টুপুর বৃষ্টি পড়ে টাপুর টুপুর নদী এলো বান শিব ঠাকুরের বিয়ে হবে তিন কোণার দান শিব ঠাকুরের বিয়ে হবে তিন কোণার দান বৃষ্টি পড়ে টাপুর টুপুর বৃষ্টি পড়ে টাপুর টুপুর বৃষ্টি পড়ে টাপুর টুপুর বৃষ্টি পড়ে টাপুর টুপুর টাপুর টুপুর টাপুর টুপুর টাপুর টুপুর টাপুর টুপুর
Beneath the clouds lie the railways, the veins and arteries of India. Indian Railways is the biggest civil employer in the world. Over the next 4 months, the forces of rain and rail will collide, both essential to India's survival. This is a story of the railway and the monsoon. So far, there's been precious little rain in the region around Kolkata. But far to the northeast in Assam, the Brahmaputra River is rising and threatening to flood. The British built Kharagpur Junction in the 19th century to house the railway workers. There's a station, and on either side of the tracks, a railway town. It's sweltering and desperate for the relief of rain. In a railway colony like this, everybody is connected to the trains in some way. A town of 100,000 people, it resembles a garrison set down in an English village. Officers are given the bungalows and villas. Lower ranks, the concrete barracks. It was designed that way, and so remains today. The British left almost 60 years ago, but a small group of their descendants still live and work here, the Anglo-Indians. Steve de Cruz is part of the community of Anglo-Indians in Kharagpur, and all of them, like him, work on the railways.
I was appointed as a guard, then went for training, 40 days training, and I'm still there. And, I have no regrets.
It's a good life for the railways.
It's good. The more you work, the more you benefit, monetarily.
Over 150 trains a day pass through this jewel in the crown of the Southeastern Railway. Kharagpur Junction runs a profitable freight yard and a flourishing catering service, dispatching meals on wheels to long-distance trains from every corner of the subcontinent. Steve's part of a smooth-running operation, and it's a source of civic pride that the platform, stretching for more than a kilometre, is the longest railway platform in the world. The station is the heart of the community, and it's Steve's second home. He's been part of this railway family for most of his life.
This is my 32nd year. 30. This is 2004, no? 33rd, 33 years ago. This is a drivers and guards combined ticket. 4 copies.
very complicated.
It was complicating at the beginning. Everything is complicating at the beginning.
There's been no sign of the monsoon in Kharagpur this month, but in Assam, it's a very different story. Assam, a landlocked peninsula the size of Scotland, bisected by India's greatest river, the Brahmaputra. This is where India fades into rainforest and mountain range, a wild country of tribal peoples and revolutionary fighters. It's connected to the mainland only by a slender umbilical cord, the Northeast Frontier Railway. The Northeast Frontier Railway receives far more rainfall than the rest of India. 100 inches falls between June and September. It's one of the wettest places in the world. Railway lines are lonely, often dangerous, shadowed by jungle. It's almost the end of the line. Subhash Kumar Rai is 26 years old, and Rangiya Junction is his first posting since he qualified as an assistant train driver. Growing up, he had different ambitions. But when his father, a railway policeman, died in service, Subhash became the head of the family. But the railway looks after its own and offered him a job on compassionate grounds.
My ambition right now at present is to be a driver, to get the promotions of the driver. I was, in my school days, I used to think in that way, to become a rock star. But it's all the fantasy. After that, naturally, I have to think, no. It's better to try for the job, the government job. That will be better.
As one of the 76,000 employees of the Northeast Frontier Railway, this will be Subhash Kumar Rai's first monsoon, and he must expect the worst from the weather. "500 miles south in Kolkata, the month of June has been as dry as a bone. Kolkata, formerly Calcutta, is the manufacturing centre of India and the old imperial capital of the British Raj. Bengal has been a communist state since the early 70s, and at least 20 million people live and work here. A stridently political city of radical protest, it has some of the flavour of Paris, but it's hotter than Paris, and dirtier, and unimaginably more crowded. The home of Rabindranath Tagore and the Bengal Renaissance, Kolkata is fiercely proud of its revolutionaries, poets, intellectuals, and filmmakers. Howrah Station is the headquarters of the Eastern Railway Division. It's 5 in the afternoon, and on the station concourse, the temperature is a muggy 32 degrees. Soon, the 21 platforms will be engulfed by thousands of homebound commuters. In the operations room, they must coordinate 100 commuter trains in the next hour. Tapas Bagchi is a traffic inspector based at Howrah. He has a reputation as a troubleshooter and a problem solver, and can be sent to the scene of a crisis at any time of the day or night.
রেলে গতি আছে, রেলে নেটওয়ার্ক আছে, রেলে বন্ধুত্ব আছে, রেলে সব আছে। রেলে যা আছে কোনো জায়গায় নেই। রেলে যা আছে, ভারতীয় রেলে যা আছে কোথাও নেই, অসম্ভব। হয়তো রেলে এই ডিপার্টমেন্টে জয়েন না করতে পারতাম, রেলে আমি ডিপ্লোমা করেছি সিভিল ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিংয়ে, রেলে জয়েন করার তো একটা আলাদা মানে থাকে। রেলে হলে অনেক জায়গায় ঘোরা যায়, অনেক লোকের সঙ্গে আলাপ হয়। রেল তো আমার মনে হয় ভারতবর্ষের ম্যাক্সিমাম লোকেরই ধারণা রেলে জয়েন করা।
Tapas Bagchi is a driven man, totally dedicated to his job. As June wears out, with no sign of the monsoon rains, the nation and the railways watch and wait. Every day in offices across India, meteorologists analyze the latest data before issuing the official weather forecast. Their prediction will affect the lives of 1 billion people. The weather is so important to the railways that every day an employee is sent to bring back the latest forecast.
এখানে কাজে এসে আমার রোজ এই ডাটাটা কালেকশন করা, এই আপনার ওয়েদার রিপোর্টটা আর কি রেলের জন্য ওয়েদার রিপোর্টটা আমি রেগুলার কালেকশন করি। এখান থেকে নিয়ে যেয়ে অফিসে দিই। ওখান থেকে এবার আমাদের ডিভিশনগুলোতে সমস্ত ডিভিশন আমাদের হাওড়া, শিয়ালদা, মালদা, আসানসোল 4টে ডিভিশন আছে। যেখানে হেভি রেনফল থাকে সেখানে আমরা ওই হেভি রেনটা দিই। আমার অফিস থেকে ওখানে আমরা রিলে করে ওটা পাঠিয়ে দিই।
Within the hour, each one of the 16 nationwide rail divisions will receive its own regional forecast. Despite drizzle in Kharagpur this morning, it's still 35 degrees with no heavy rain forecast. Steve de Cruz, like all guards, never travels without the trunk containing the tools of his trade. And of course, his paperwork. And it's the box boy's job to cart it to the guard's van and onto the right train.
This is my treasure chest. This is where I keep my tie and my cap and all. You want me to wear my cap?
You want? Oh, very smart.
I don't look like... वो लगाएगा यार, अभी इतना पसीना निकल रहा है। इंडिया का वेदर टाई क्लियर नहीं है। These are my detonators.
What's this for?
Detonators.
For what?
Fog signals. In case of any emergency, to stop the train in the rear, we place it on the track, and this burst when the train moves over it. And it explosion without harming anything, and the train comes to a stop.
How long has he been your box boy?
He's been for quite some time now. He's retiring. His name is क्या नाम है ना? Sheikh Wajid.
Sheikh Wajid.
Yeah.
Oh.
He belongs to the Muslim community.
The railway network is supported by a vast empire of paperwork. The bureaucracy is steadily becoming computerized, but still relies on paper. There are 12,000 different forms to record every single aspect of the railway's operations.
I'm in charge of the train. Because anything gets wrong with the train, they ask who's the guard of the train. Because we keep everything written down there. Why the train is late, why it stopped here, what happened here, what's the reason, how is the weather, all this we write. 46 Master, baat kariye.
Today, Steve is aboard the Coromandel Express to Kolkata. It's a 2-hour journey. Weather forecast, no rain. India cannot survive without the monsoon rains. and today it cannot survive without the railways. When the British laid the first tracks 150 years ago, it started a transformation of India from countryside to city, from ancient to modern. Rain and rail are central to the folklore and culture of India, primary elements of life, one natural and one man-made. The monsoon rains are seen as the different ages and incarnations of woman. With the first cloudbursts, she is a nurturing mother. And next, a teasing young girl playing hide and seek as the rains retreat and advance. As the torrents soak the land, she is a nubile maiden. And in the fury of late summer storms, she becomes a demonic madwoman. Finally, as India blooms with renewed growth and life, she embraces as a lover. Steve's train is just one of hundreds pointed at Kolkata today. And like the monsoon, it's late. Howrah Bridge is Kolkata's Eiffel Tower, proud romantic emblem of the city. If Kolkata is one of the most populated cities in the world, then Howrah is certainly one of the busiest railheads. Maneuvering trains in and out of the station is as complex as running an international airport. Packed trains disgorge torrents of people through Howrah's concourse every few minutes.
Railway is our national property, so it is our duty to save it.
1 million people use the Howrah station every day. Every day, 1 million people every day, because the major portion, apart from the long distance train, is the suburban traffic of Howrah.
In traffic control, a problem has come up. A commuter train is stalled on a busy line into the station and it's creating havoc. The reason is a strikers' picket south of the city. This one is on Tapas Bagchi's patch. He's heard a report of the demonstration turning ugly in the heat and of stones being thrown. Howrah-bound trains are stacking up and Bagchi is sent to negotiate a safe passage for the stranded loco. As a communist himself, Bagchi might sympathize with the struggle, but his only objective is to get the train moving again. Tempers flare easily in the clammy heat, and Bagchi bargains with the pickets to allow the train through. A compromise is reached. They'll clear the tracks, but a peaceful demonstration will continue. It's a minor victory in one of many battles. It's the end of a punishing 12-hour shift. But Bagchi knows that once the monsoon starts, it can pose an even greater threat to the railway. In Assam, it's already doing serious damage. The Northeast Frontier Railway, with 4,000 kilometres of tracks, gets more than its fair share of monsoon rain. And this year has been no exception. The Brahmaputra is India's mightiest river. Torrential downpours in neighbouring Bhutan and China have swollen the Brahmaputra, and the water level has risen by 3 metres. For a railwayman, Assam might be called a hardship posting, especially when you're far away from home.
I was born and brought up in that hills, and my near and dear ones, and my friends, families, relatives, all of their, I really miss that things. My father, he was in a railway department. He was a RPF when he was expired. So from that compassionate ground, we used to get the job. It's risky. It's a risky job. It's adventurous. Yeah, I'm happy. To get a government job, it's to be secured. And actually, every parents, they want that to get a marry of their daughter. So they feel secure themselves if they will give their daughter to the railway employee. So I have to be careful.
For the whole Northeast Frontier Railway, caution is the watchword. Especially in remote areas where insurgents and bandits are active. On the platform at Rangiya Junction, these trackmen have reported for duty. They're known as the Monsoon Patrol.
Sri Dipen Boro and Padma Kumar signing here at 20 hours to proceed Kharagpur side for patrolling.
During the monsoon season, India's entire railway system, every inch of the line, is under inspection 24 hours a day. Each patrol walks half the 10 kilometres between 2 stations, inspecting the track. And out here, there's little protection, either from the insurgents or the weather.
बारे दिले साथी लो आरो पानी को तो दिया मैं रेनकोट বৰষুণ হলি আৰু ছাতি লওঁ ছাতি লৈ পেলাই যাই থাকোঁ আৰু ৰেইনকোটো আমাক হেৰি কৰে ৰেইনকোটো দিয়ে এবাৰ বানপানী বহুত বানপানী এবাৰ খেতিবিলাক নষ্ট কৰিছে ধানবিলাক সব খাই দিছে পথাৰবিলাক বহু বানপানী ঘৰ সব বহুতো ঘৰ ভাঙি গৈছে মোৰ খেতিটো বেয়া হৈছে ঘৰো ভাঙছি বানপানীত
In the dead of night, they meet another patrol at the midpoint. And this being India, they exchange paperwork and return to base. Their reports will end up here at Maligaon, headquarters of the Northeast Frontier Railway. The British built this railway to haul its tea and troops. Now the soldiers are Indian and the tea goes by road. What hasn't changed since British times is the damage wrought by the monsoon.
We get floods in the low-lying areas, and the hill sections receive their share of landslides. So it makes train running absolutely difficult. It's very difficult because we have to stop trains over there. Train services come to a grinding halt. And similar is the situation for the low-lying areas, especially the North Bank, where flood waters enter and submerge the railway tracks or even wash away the railway tracks. So overall, whenever we have rains, we get jittery. We keep our fingers crossed and we are on the lookout.
The track engineer from Rangiya is on his way towards a tiny station on the edge of the jungle. The local monsoon patrol has reported a big problem further up the line. The floods have washed away roads and homes. Millions of people are affected. 300 are dead. And the railway hasn't been spared. The embankment and railway tracks are gone, and the people of Assam to the east are cut off. Emergency planning means that nowhere on India's 40,000 miles of track, no matter how remote, is far from rapid repair. From Rangiya Junction, it's Subhash who has to take the relief train to the breach. Under threatening skies, he sets off for the danger zone. The railway even owns its own quarries, and these rocks will provide ballast for a new bridge across the river. Either side of the railway line, villagers are already counting the cost of the monsoon rains. It doesn't rain everywhere in India all day long. The monsoon can be inconsistent and capricious. In some areas, scorching drought, in others, inundating floods. The railways are facing a regional disaster, and the government takes action. The Minister for Railways is Lalu Prasad Yadav, a colourful personality known as Laluji. His first act as minister was to ban the new plastic beakers used for railway tea and reintroduce traditional clay cups. This gave back jobs to 100,000 Indian potters who had been thrown out of work, and it was environmentally friendly. The revenue of the Indian railways outstrips India's entire tax budget. It employs 1.5 million people. Tens of millions work in associated jobs, and 11 million passengers travel on the railways every day. It's a public sector business, but also a provider of vital social services, with freight profits subsidizing cheap tickets for the poor. The civil servants of Laluji's railway board hold their weekly meeting, and the monsoon floods in Assam are high up the agenda.
So that is because earlier also the problem remains that there is a marginal bund which is maintained by the state government and got breached last time, and again there is a breach in the same marginal bund, and because of that marginal bund the water directly hits, all that water which is coming from Sikkim side is hitting the main bank. So it is just within half a kilometer of the same place where we had problem about a month back. So this, we are still assessing the damage. Repairs are yet to start. In a day or so we'll be able to tell by what time. But this it's about 100-meter breach by now. So it may take about 5-6 days.
It's a very insignificant section.
Only this 2-kilometer section is not working, but otherwise passengers are coming and they are taking complete work.
Delhi has set a target, and in Assam, the repairs are ready to begin. They must rebuild the track in the space of 4 days. Each of these rocks can weigh 100 pounds or more. It's now clear that hundreds of villages have been washed away. 1,900 relief camps have been set up statewide to cope with the refugees. Even the capital, Guwahati, is inundated and its sewers have overflowed. Elsewhere in India, people are hungry for news and to see where next might be affected.
The monsoon has caused devastation in Assam, which is now going through its worst floods in years. 18 of the 27 districts have been badly hit by floods. 2 million people are homeless now, and at least 22 have died.
This is the second time this year that Kolikata-Kuchi in the Haji subdivision under Kamrup district has been underwater. But this time the waters of the Putimari river following a breach on its embankments threaten to stay around a lot while longer.
Kharagpur, we never had floods.
1974, remember?
His parents have been sent to safer
Of course, we never affected Kharagpur as yet, but outskirts of Kharagpur we saw the floods. I remember those days.
Because after that we never had like...
Especially going to Jamshedpur, that river, Subarna Rekha, the water was going on the lines.
মই ইয়াৰে গাঁৱৰ ওচৰৰ যিবিলাক লোকেল মানুহ আছে এই লোকেল মানুহবিলাকে লৈছোঁ ওচৰৰে কদমগুৰি গাঁও আছে কদমগুৰি গাঁৱৰ লোকেল মানুহ লৈছোঁ তেওঁলোকক লৈ মই মোটামুটি 5টা-7টা গ্ৰুপ বনাই দিছোঁ 20জনীয়া গ্ৰুপ 7টা বনাই দিছোঁ বনাই দি তেখেতসকলৰ জৰিয়তে মই তাৰ মানে ইয়াতে 24 ঘণ্টা কাম হৈ আছে মানে 8টাৰ পৰা 4টা লৈকে 4টাৰ পৰা আৰু ৰাতি 12টা লৈকে ৰাতি 12টাৰ পৰা আৰু ৰাতিপুৱা 8টা লৈকে 24 ঘণ্টা কাম কৰি আছো 12টাত আকৌ নেক্সট বেলেগ এটা গ্ৰুপ আহে তেনেকৈ মই 180 জন লেবাৰ মেইনটেইন কৰি আছো আৰু
वो रखी है वहाँ पर आपको ना ऐसे डाल दो सपोर्ट एज ए सपोर्ट के लिए
ওখান থেকে বড় স্লিপার একটা রাখা আছে
ये रखी नहीं सामने रखी
নিয়ে চারটা লোক ধরে নিয়ে ঢুকাই দিই
It's 3 a.m. on the 4th day, and the work gangs are ahead of schedule. All of the work is done by hand, and they're exhausted.
वर्क इन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव वर्षात के अंदर काम करना सबसे लोकल प्रॉब्लम्स लाइक इंसर्जेंसी heavy rains, fast current of water, like that.
Through the night, stone by stone, the new embankment slowly emerges. The engine must travel over the rocks before they have had time to settle. The engineers say it's not possible for the train to topple into the water. But with 18 tons of weight over each axle, Subhash is nervous at the prospect of crossing the river in his 113-ton loco.
Right now, we are waiting for the track testing. Our officers, senior officers, they are here in the site. So when they declare that the track is okay, so they will give us permission to drive the train on the track. So we have to drive the train cautiously, and if the train is run over the track, then it's okay.
railway has withstood the first onslaught in the Battle of the Monsoon. And for Subhash and the workers, it's a communal triumph. For the rest of eastern India, there's still no rain. Those who bathe near Howrah station in the Hooghly River do it either for religious reasons or because they have nowhere else to go. Morning commuters on the railway ferry cross the river to Howrah station on the east bank from downtown Kolkata. For them, it's a transit point. But for others, the station is home. These boys are orphans and runaways. They live on Howrah station. Bombaya is a typical railway kid. He sees the coolies, hawkers and chaiwalas as part of a loose, extended railway family. Mukteshwar is a coolie at Howrah station. But his true vocation is to be a pujari, a holy man, leading the worship in the coolie's own temple. Conveniently sited opposite Howrah station, it's an ashram of peace, just beside the taxi rank. When the Coromandel Express reaches Howrah station, there's money and work for the coolies and the kids. But competition is stiff, and you have to be quick. In the stifling heat, Mukteshwar wisely paces himself. A seasoned coolie, he lets the client come to him. Even so, it's still hard bargaining to get a decent fee.
सामान गिनती कर लीजिए सामान गिनती कर लीजिए 2 ठो यहाँ है अच्छा कुछ विचार करिए हम लोग गरीब आदमी हैं
30 रुपए बात की हमारी आप
थोड़ा गरीब आदमी के दया करिए हाँ गरीब आदमी हमने कहेंगे नहीं 10 रुपये में
ये दोनों आपका है तो ऊपर एक तो ये हुआ
हाँ 2 ऊपर है एक नीचे है 3
7 है
Bombaya is about 11, but he's not sure. He appeared at Howrah 4 years ago, after hiding on a train from Bombay. The children live here illegally and risk being arrested by police, beaten up, or worse. They survive mainly by collecting empty plastic bottles and selling them on for recycling. Different platforms have different gangs, and the orphans jealously guard their territory.
एक बाटली में 4 आना और बड़ा बाटली थम्स अप का 1 रुपया एक मासी आता है वो लेता है यही 20 रुपये का 30 रुपये चिंता है दे जिसका साथ में था वही राजू है तो दोस्त उसका साथ में रहता है वो आम चुनता है
कभी कमाई नहीं होता तो क्या करता खाना पीना
भीख मांगता है
पैसा प्रसाद वाला 11 रुपया
While Bombaya picks up bottles and food, Mukteshwar collects for the temple.
भाई भगवान का प्रसाद के रोज देला लो रोज कहने
Most are happy to donate. A few have religious doubts. For the railway kids, it's a hand-to-mouth existence, but they look out for each other. They're mostly ignored by the public and unofficially tolerated by the railways. After all, they help to keep the station tidy. Nothing ever goes to waste in India.
आपसे निवेदन है कि स्टेशन को साफ रखने में हमारी मदद करें। আপনাদের কাছে অনুরোধ স্টেশন পরিষ্কার রাখতে আমাদের সহায়তা করুন।
बारिश हो रहा बहुत।
For those at the bottom, it's an uncertain world. Tomorrow they may be on a train to Delhi or Bombay or Cochin. For them, a new life is always waiting somewhere down the line. Across the Bay of Bengal, the monsoon has turned south. And though Kolkata is still dry, in Kharagpur it started raining. "100,000 people live and work here, and all are connected with the railway." The British left behind the tree-lined boulevards, the spacious bungalows, the officers' club, and of course, the railway. But what a colony like Kharagpur retains most of all from British times is a sense of belonging.
We always prefer to call ourselves as railway men, not as a Bengali or as a Punjabi or as a Odia or like that. So in a colony, we develop that culture, that spirit, because by staying staying just side by side, one Tamil maybe with a Bengali or maybe with Android or Odisha or from Punjab or from Bihar. There's a unique sense of togetherness.
Kharagpur was laid out as a divided community, with the British naturally separate from the Indians and Christians from Hindus and Muslims. But they were all to live together within the perimeter of the railway colony. The British brought the railways, the Mughals brought Islam. But it was the Portuguese who planted the Catholic faith in India and gave Steve de Cruz his surname.
We are born Catholics. I am a Sunday churchgoer. I feel nice when I go for a Sunday morning mass, refreshed, peace of mind, come back. I am one of those outstanding Catholics.
In most of the colonies you find one temple, one church, one mosque is there. So even the different, So it's just fabulous, and the railway colonies, normally a hospital is attached to them in the colony, some market is there, and a community hall is there for their social functions, the officers club, the subordinate club, and the big, so it's a full city.
This is double line plus middle line.
The railway will educate you, train you, employ you. So if you're born into a railway family, the chances are you will eventually work on the railways yourself.
Danger flag is held in the right hand because you're always more sure of your right hand than left hand. If it was vice versa, there's possibility of this slipping out of your hand and going. So that is why the red flag is always held in the right hand.
By Indian standards, life is sweet in the bosom of the railway family, even in the monsoon. Working for Indian Railways means respectability and probably a job for life. In Kharagpur colony, the railway truly functions as a mini welfare state. From cradle to grave, it is present for all life's significant events. Steve has a 6-monthly checkup with the eye doctor.
6359640.
Obviously, it's vital for a railway guard that he can tell the difference between red and green.
One red, one green.
आप कौन है? उनका पिताजी है? हैं? क्या है देखिए? लड़का है? घर में से है? घर में? घर में क्या?
घर में लड़की है।
वाह वाह!
बहुत अच्छा, अब टेंशन फ्री हो गया एकदम।
लड़की था ना, लड़का हो गया उसका टेंशन खुशी हो।
At the heart of railway life in India is the sense of belonging to a family that embraces the subcontinent. Membership demands hard work, loyalty, and a sense of pride, amply rewarded. But ask any Indian, and it's the romance of the rails that lingers.
My grandfather was in the East Indian Railways. My father was commercial officer from Eastern Railway. So I am now in South Eastern Railway. I've got long service to go. My father traveled in this railway. In this railway, I am traveling. My grandfather, in my childhood days, like you take me, I went to Darjeeling with my grandfather and father when I was a boy of say around 6 years. That time it was just, I was in a first class compartment. The night light was, blue, and it was just like a dreamy atmosphere. What a pleasant thing. I still miss those things, but still I like to travel by the railways. It's a sort of a nostalgia which people want to remember time and again.
There's a powerful nostalgia for the old days of steam in India. But memories of the British Raj are fading. The Anglo-Indians keep the flame alive when they get together for parties and anniversaries and rainy birthdays to tell stories of heroism and deeds of daring do.
Mickey Johannes' father, correct, yes. You know, yeah. Mickey Johannes' father. He brought the train, although it was blazing, because everything was coming this side. The smoke chimney, it was closed from on top. They didn't know.
The fireman, he jumped out, but Johannes wouldn't jump out. He stood towards the side. It was too late. He was half burnt. But the train kept on. He brought the train right into Kharagpur platform, and the guard and the coolies and all saw the flames coming out. When they rushed up, all he said was, "Ben, save me." And he dropped. But he was fully burnt. As they were picking him up, his flesh was coming off from his body. They took him to the hospital and he died. Like this kind, there are so many stories about Anglo-Indian drivers. And my story is my wife hammers me every day because she wants to drink his beer.
The Anglo-Indians no longer fit into the railway family as easily as they once did. After retirement, most of them leave. And Steve?
I wish to stay in Kharagpur. I'll feel very sad if I leave this place because my roots are here. I know everybody, everybody knows me. I'll feel very sad if I have to leave this place.
My heart is breaking 'cause somebody's taking my place. Nobody's taken my place, that's only a song. Thank you.
In part 2 of Monsoon Railway, the rains move south, bringing problems to Calcutta. The stories of Steve de Cruz, Tapas Bagchi, Subhash and Bombaya unfold against the monsoon.
And you can see the second part of Monsoon Railway tomorrow at 9. Stay with us tonight for Julian and his friend Sandy, Rambling Sid Rumpo, Dame Celia Mole Strangler and J. Peasmold Grunt Futtock. Hit stage show Round the Horn Revisited on BBC4 next.